Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Kensington Live. This is our 9th show. So thanks for coming and tuning in. We have some people watching, and we'll certainly have some more. Let me tell you about Kensington Live. We're doing this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights, and we're here. We're talking with the cast. Well, up till now, we've been just talking to casts and doing some cast reunions, and tonight is no difference. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're here with the cast of the Fantasticks from last year, so I think we did Tarzan, so not our newest or our latest show, but one of our most recent shows at Kensington Theatre Company. The Fantasticks. The show is just beautiful and it's so fun, but also this cast is a lot of fun. So you're gonna enjoy tonight. You can be watching from either Facebook or YouTube through Kensington Theatre Company, and wherever you're watching from, there's a few things. One, we're live, so if something happens, technology happens. If for some reason there's an outage, which it did happen, our first Kensington Live, Facebook cut out, and they just sent me a thing said so many people are on live streams right now that they've had outages. So for some reason something happens on Facebook, go to the YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to Facebook. Okay. Also, wherever you are, comment in the comments either on YouTube or Facebook, and we will put them up on the screen. If you have any questions for the people that are on the screen, or maybe you have stories, maybe you came and saw the show and you have a story about this show in particular, or the Fantasticks, the show in general, or anything you want to put in the comments, put it in the comments, and I'll put them up on the screen and we'll talk about it. Okay. Yeah, we're here live, and I've said this every single show. Well, I'm trying to. We're trying to do this Kensington Live to give some laughter, some levity, some connection during these hard times, these crazy times, and giving you some type of connection so you can see familiar faces that you might not be seeing right now. And what I've been challenging people to do is just to reach out to 3 people every day and just check up on them. Make sure that you are that they're okay. I say this every time, and everybody dances, but we're all in this together, right? Do the dance. Okay, everybody's doing the dance. Yeah, I should put all them on there. They're all doing the dance. But we all are in this together. So will you reach out, text or call or Facebook or whatever, 3 people, and it doesn't have to be the same 3 people every day, or it can be the same 3 people, but let's just check up on each other, make sure that we're all doing well, because these are, unprecedented times, and we surely need that connection and make sure that we're all doing okay. All right? Check up on 3 people. Let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to bring on first the director. She's been in almost every single one of our Kensington Lives, and she's at the theater, but in a new spot. You'll see it. Welcome, Tony Butler. Oh, look at that! Yeah, look at it.
The Fantasticks.
I love it. So where on the theater are you right now, Tony?
We're on the apron. Here, I'll take you on a tour. You ready?
Oh, please.
Okay, so here's like the audience, and then so we're just on the apron right now. So the Fantasticks thing is just right in front of the grand drape.
Yay!
I know. So my mute daughter and I.
That sounds like Lydia's mute, but I love it. And that, of course, was the banner that was on the front of, or on the set when people walked into the theater, or to the little theater, black box.
Little side note, it's kind of fun, is Abilene and Lydia actually helped me make it. So we had to cut out all of those letters and then iron them on. It took us, I think, 8 hours to make that banner.
But it looks good.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the pictures that are on the website, but there's one where Lydia and Abilene are actually, you can see them putting them up. It's kind of fun. It looks like a projector sideways.
Anyway. I'll look for it. I'll put it on, and then I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just cute that it took a long time, but they were so cute to help me make it.
I love it. I love that you still have it too. I mean, it doesn't take up lots of space, so.
No, no, it folds down nice.
So Tony, well, first, do you want to plug Les Mis still?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I figured out. I forget, and then we should.
We always should. Because it's going to happen. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And you boys will regret it when you come see it. You'll be like, I should have been a part of that. And we'll be like, yeah, remember in Kensington Live when he kept like putting it up in your face?
I'm going to just keep putting it up so that they see it. Yeah.
It'll be a subconscious thing.
I have to register.
I love it.
So you still have slots for teenage boys. They have to be in between the ages of
15 and 18.
15 to 18.
They have to be 18 years old by January 1st of this year.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're watching and you fit that category, go on right now and then put in the comments that you registered, and we will shout for joy. Okay?
We'll put you on Kensington Live.
Well, you can come on and talk to us about registering for.
What a great experience it was.
I love it. Okay, so I love this show because I was a part of it. I was the music director, but this show, one, is just special. But then tell us why you decided to do this, all that with Russ and all that.
Yeah, this one was a very special one for me. I have my high school drama teacher is Russ Johnson. I used to go to Taylorsville High School, and this was his favorite musical. It's one of the longest running musicals ever on Broadway, and highly loved. If you haven't seen the Fantasticks,
Unique.
Goes without saying, right? Yeah, it's fantastic. But anyway, he loved it with all his heart. And so Russ, the past couple of years, has been fighting Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And so I really, really wanted to produce this for him. And I thought, wait a second, I own a theater, like a company, like this is our theater company and the stage, that we can use, and like, why not? Yeah. And this one is a little bit different because I just assembled a cast because we were going to do it in 3 weeks. And so we assembled the cast and they all agreed to doing it. I told them it was just a special thing that we were doing in honor of Russ. And so they all agreed, and they're the most marvelous people, every single one of them. They were amazing in their parts. The rehearsal process was so positive and so genuine. I always say that theater's a gift, and this time it was just the most special gift, and the cast understood it and the team understood it. And in the audience, we set one chair that was more comfortable than the others. And that was always where Russ would watch each show. And he was our guest of honor at each show. And he was so excited. His family was so sweet. They would get in there every time to come see it. And at the end of when we did it, Jeff would go down into the audience when they sang Try to Remember. Sorry, it made me cry. And it was so special to sing that song to him, especially fighting Alzheimer's. And to just watch that cast sing such a lovely song to him. And every time he loved it. He
was singing along every time.
Yeah, he was. And he thoroughly enjoyed it. And you'll probably show some of those pictures with us.
Yeah. Show there's us at the beginning of the rehearsal process. Mm-hmm. Us there in the middle, and there's us, I think, maybe closing, or
I think it was closing because we closed, I think, on Lydia's birthday, and it was somebody else's birthday, I think, too. Yeah. And so I believe John's sister-in-law made that cake because Russ loves Mickey Mouse. Yeah. And he's obsessed with Disney. And so they made that cake specially for him, and we sang happy birthday. But it was truly like, theater is so beautiful, and to use it as such a beautiful tool was, this is Kensington. I'm dying. I just want to do something like that again with that much heart and with the same kind of people, because I can't. I mean, you'll meet the cast in just a second. You'll know most of them, and they are outstanding people.
Yeah. Well, and it was just you mentioned it, but I think that like we knew what the show is great, but knowing that we were going to do this for Russ, that this is what we were going towards, made it a little bit more special, and I think connected the cast a little bit quicker than maybe some casts. We were just right there, and I mean, some of them have know each other from other shows. Well, actually, I think all of us knew each other from other shows. Except for, well, anyways, but yeah, there was something very special, and did the show. And how many we rehearsed for?
It was about 3 weeks, maybe 4. We worked around with crazy schedules. Like Maggie might explain. I don't remember what it was, but I remember asking Maggie if she could do it. And she's like, I can, but I've got this really crazy schedule. And I'm like, well, I'm really good at scheduling. So if I can work around it, will you do it? And so I did. And it was crazy. It was like, I can't remember what it was, but something like opening week. We actually didn't rehearse one night because she had a performance or something. And then, we had so many special things happen, that miracles that happened in the Fantasticks that I can't wait to share with you guys.
Yeah. So tell us briefly for those that don't know the Fantasticks, because I did not know anything about this before you asked me. I probably like 6 months before we actually did it, you said, hey, I want to do the Fantasticks, blah, blah, blah. So I started figuring out what this show was. And maybe a lot of people my age are in that same boat, even though this show was running for what, like 50 years or whatever on Off-Broadway. Yeah. I mean,
it's a beautiful story, really. It's a coming of age story. It's about a boy and a girl who fall in love. They live with their fathers, and their fathers are pretending that there's a feud, but they know that if you say no to them, that they want it even more. First reverse psychiatry musical ever. And so they built a wall to keep them out, but it just brought them closer together. And then it almost has a little bit of Into the Woods to it, where the first act, everything works out. The kids actually do get together. And then the second act, they end in a pose. You'll see the pose. It's like the classic Fantasticks pose. There it is. That's it. But yeah. Without a mute. And without the Mortimer and Henry. But they end the first act in that pose, and when you come back to the second pose or the second act, they're still holding that pose, but they act as if they've been holding it all intermission. And it's hard to hold that pose, which is very symbolic of holding that happiness. And so then they start not being happy. They start seeing each other in the light. Like the moon and the sun is a really big symbolism in it. But they're in the sun now, and they can see all the faults of the people around them. And then they're not really happy with what they see. And they're like, the grass must be greener somewhere else, since they go in search of it. And then in the end, I mean, spoiler, I'm sorry. And they actually come back together a little bit more hurt. Joff hopefully can tell you the lyrics. About the end, when he talks about at the end, he has some beautiful lines as El Gallo. They're a little bit hurt, a little bit more torn, a little bit more old, but truly realized that what they had all along really was bringing them happiness. And it's just beautiful. Yeah.
I love this. This is Adam Lennon. For some reason, Ad Lennox comes up every time. But yes, the music is so fun. Of course, Michelle was on stage with us in the Black Box and played. I mean, it's not easy piano music either, and she did a great job. I love this. I didn't get to see the show, but Planaradish had the Tony Awards. Our Tony Awards made me laugh so hard.
Yes, they were so cute.
I love it. Okay, let's bring some. We can't bring everybody on, so let's do this. Let's bring on John. Hello. Let's bring on John and Ned. I love that you put your characters so we can know between Huckabee and Bellamy.
Yeah.
And let's do Maggie as well. Hi guys.
I've got a mute here too for you.
You want a mute? Yeah, why not? We'll get down on in a second. How are you? Those of you who
fine and dandy. I'm well.
Fantastic.
I've seen some of you on here more than others. and Joff. So thanks for coming back every time I ask you. You just do so much shows. You're in every single one, so whatever. And Joff, no leaving today's live stream. Go to the theater, okay?
Okay, deal. I can agree to that.
If you are confused and you're watching, go watch our Tarzan live stream on Tuesday, where Joff reenact Joff what your chair looked like for about 30 minutes of the show. Yep, about like that, as he drove to the theater to go down the zip line. Not a great idea. Joff, come back. Okay, good. He's not done. Okay, so I'm going to put up pictures of you guys, but I want to know, and I ask this every live show, what your favorite moment was. It doesn't have to be your favorite moment on stage for your character or for you. It could be backstage during the show or even in the rehearsal process. What your favorite part of this whole production was. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Let's start. I don't ever. Tony, do you want to start?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean that's really hard because when you're the director, every part is your baby. Every part is your stroke, right? And these people were my good friends. And so, I mean, really, my favorite moment was watching them sing Try to Remember at the end, but it summarized the event for us. I might put one interesting story, though, is I did not know Ned. I didn't know Ned right here. There he is. And Russ Johnson, Ned and John are both students of Russ's too. We were all students of Russ's. And Russ one time used to, oh, you would love Ned. You would love Ned. He's so great. He was just talking to me just randomly one time about that. And then I asked John to do it. And John's like, because I had another, was it you? Was it you, Logan? Were you going to be the other father or was it Rob?
You originally asked me, but I couldn't do it. I don't know what.
Right. And so when you fell through, John's like, hey, I know someone who could do it. He did it with me before and we were really great. And he's like, it's not true. And I'm like, oh, I remember the name because Russ told me how fantastic he was. And so I actually said yes without ever meeting Ned. And so that's a lot of faith. But then it was so funny. We came into our first rehearsal and Ned walks through the door and I was in the shop, like where you walk in through the door. And I'm like, we just need Ned. And Ned's like, that's me. That's who I am. I'm like, oh. It's nice to meet you. And then we did our first like read through or sing through. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in for such trouble. That is fantastic. And then of course I enjoyed him so much. I asked him to come back and do Smee too for Peter Pan. So you might remember him from Smee as well.
Yeah.
Well, can I say the real story to that was that it wasn't like John asked me. He was like saying, well, they can't find anybody else and there's nobody that can do it. And so when you come and do it, it's okay with Tony. And I, like Tony, had been hearing Tony's name from Russ and John for a couple of years and I'd never met her. So when I came, I was like really nitty on the spot and I wanted to make sure that I did everything perfect and right so that she would let me be Bellamy one more time. That's the true story.
And yeah. you were perfect. And I remember sitting in that first read through, and we got to, maybe it was Never Say No, or maybe it was Plant a Radish. I don't remember which one. And I think Tony said, well, do you want to think through it? And you go, well, you two said, I don't know, we could try it. And they just popped it out with their harmonies and everything. And I sat there going, I guess I'll leave now because they're already learned in their music.
Yes, they were so good. They even remembered their choreography from years ago. And so I was trying to re-choreograph them, like with my choreography. And they were like, well, we did this. And then it was just funny rehearsals. I'd be like, why don't you guys just, do your thing?
Well, Lydia helped save us on all the choreography, remembering everything after you taught it the first time.
It was so great. These two were, such a treat. Such a treat.
I love it. Okay, Lydia.
I was actually going to bring that up. I think one of my favorite parts was helping you guys with the choreography because you guys it was so fun because you guys were just there you are. But yeah, you guys were just so entertaining. I just always looked forward to I never knew what I was going to get when we went to those two rehearsals. And it was a blast, man.
One of my favorite things was when John and I would do our first scene together over the wall, would to be looking at you, muting, going, you were smiling the whole time.
Yeah. That was back when social distancing wasn't a problem. You were about 6 inches away from us.
Yeah.
That's right.
Man, it was a challenge to like be completely silent the whole time, and it really made me explore a different side of my acting. Like, I think it was Jeremy Jordan, he played the mute a while ago. He said that it taught him how to listen on stage, and I agree with that. Like, it taught me how to just listen and be good at listening.
There's a funny story with the TBC. They come in and they get to pick 3 dream roles that they want to be, and we like try to pick one of those because we design a show around them. And it was so cute. After they did the Fantasticks, one of the girls put mute as her dream role because they'd never seen the Fantasticks before. And they loved Lydia so much. They're like, that's my dream role. I want to be the mute.
Well, and I wonder if
Stage manager.
I wonder if Tony, if you added more things for Lydia to the mute to do, or if that's as much as they are supposed to do, because I would argue that Lydia had one of the harder parts of anybody in this cast because she was running around and it was always, Lydia, you got to remember this, you got to remember that, or this doesn't work. None of this works if you don't remember. Yeah,
I would say 90% was written into the script. And then, especially towards the end, I added a lot of things at the end too, where I'm like, do you think you could handle doing this fast? Do you think you could do this too? And so I would add about 10% of it. No, the mute really does that much. It's written.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. All right, great. Josh, favorite moment?
Well, Tony touched on my favorite moment earlier. I think it's pretty obvious. That final moment, just going and singing Try to Remember to Russ. Just because, I don't know, that whole show, like Tony said, that part summarizes all of it. And it's all like, I loved that so much because it felt like a celebration of theater too, the whole process. We were just doing theater and loving every second. And I love that part because it's like, even when we are deep in December, when we're deep in the winter, we can still remember September when it was warm and we could like go on hikes and have fun, like even in the rough times, let's just remember the good times and get to those again, that's why it's my favorite.
Can I just point, I had a favorite part of Jobs. That was a great part. I already told you that. But his death. Oh my gosh. His death was so funny.
Yay.
It was different every night.
Preston's reaction to your death was priceless.
Yeah, I was always laughing while I was lying on the ground dead in front of the audience because I could hear them laughing and I couldn't.
He threw himself off the stage and he would do things. I'm like, yeah, keep that in. That's fun. Keep that. But then I think I might have killed him. Again, I worry about the actors because Job was so willing to throw his body everywhere, and every night I'm like, "Are you okay?"
It's only like 4 feet. We've done 9 before.
True.
Well, that whole sequence of, I mean, for those that Job's character doesn't actually die. He is, anyways, it very dramatically dies. But that whole sequence with Dallin and Tanner, and then with Joff, and every time Joff did it, it got a little bit crazier and a little bit more like, oh, he just really fell off the front of the stage. Is he okay? And every night it was different, and I could not stop laughing. That was my favorite part.
I really couldn't remember what I did each time, so I was just winging it every time,
No, there was one part where you had to be super consistent because Michelle's like, you can do what you want, but please just make sure this is consistent so I know when to move on.
Right.
You could do that. Dallin just said in the chat, it's so cute. That death was life-changing.
Thanks, Dallin.
My favorite night of the death was, I think it was either the second to last or the last performance where I don't know if you guys remember this, but Joff literally, so he fell off the stage as part of his like act, and then his thing was to get back up on the stage. He like threw his arm up, and then he kind of rolled back on, but then he didn't quite make it, so he like rolled back off. He again, still fell off, and he just pushed it on the floor instead of being on the stage because he couldn't get back on. So
Yeah, that sucked. I was just exhausted. It's so hard to move yourself all the way up with one arm.
And that was like at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for us sitting on the side, because at least for John and I, we've always had our back to the show, and to sit there and watch that every night be different and not laugh, it was terrible. It's so hard to fit it in.
Yeah, in case you don't know, in the Fantasticks, everybody stays on stage the entire time. It's really cool.
Yeah, I perfected my poker face during that show.
I love it. I love it. Okay, John, well, we'll come back to I want to talk more about the scene and the scene before it when we get down on. So, but we'll come back. Okay, John, favorite moment.
Well, I was actually going to say that I've done this. This was the fourth time I've done this production. The first three were with Russ on a high school, an alumni show, and then he did one with the Murray Arts Council. So he had always staged us as they did in New York with our backs to the audience on chairs at the top of the back upstage. And so I would listen all night and hear all the music and loved it. But this is the first time with Tony deciding to do it more like Commedia dell'arte on the sides, looking in, and it was wonderful. I was able to, have all these memories of the show, so many tableaus, so many lighting, just magical, beautiful moments that, and other than seeing Ned across on the other side of the stage, it was okay. But I was watching what was happening on the stage itself. That was pretty amazing. There were some beautiful moments. Just some really beautiful silhouettes and all kinds of lighting, and it was wonderful.
I agree. All right, Ned.
Well, of course, I don't have any good time with John since we've been, this is the second time we've done it, but for some reason this is my third time, and I don't know how Maggie felt, but I really felt connected to Maggie, and I really looked forward to my opportunity to be on stage with her. There was just a couple of times I got to do that, and I wanted to really take advantage of that and be with her because for some reason, I just connected really well with Maggie.
It's because you coach girls soccer.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, and you played.
I do have one other fond memory, though. When we did our first, it was like the first time we rehearsed on this in the black box, and I jumped down and put the watering can on the chair, and Tony goes, wait. Did you just hand that to somebody? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh my gosh, that's really good.
Like I said, they had an opinion about what this show was going to look like. It was so fun, though. I loved it. I loved all their ideas. And I just, John and Ned really love each other, but they have love-hate relationship. So,
we hate to love each other, yes.
It's like those two dogs on the Muppets.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. All right, Maggie, favorite moment.
Well, I was going to say something very similar to Ned, actually. I think my favorite part of the show is just like all the connections that I made with the cast members, because it was such a small cast and such a short rehearsal process. It really was just like a very, I don't know, it was a very just lovely show, I guess is the best way to describe it. But I feel like I got to know everyone so well. And especially Ned, like I just felt like he was totally my father, and it was so fun to do our scenes together. And the parts with Joff, we had so much fun up there, and Preston, I miss him. But it was just a fun show, and it was great to meet all these people and have such incredible memories with them. So that was my favorite part.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let me get Dallin.
Drop me and get Dallin in here. It'll improve the broadcast.
How kind of you. I got to take
John.
Hi, Dallin.
Hi, Dallin.
Okay, so
Hey, guys.
your favorite moment. It can be whatever moment, but it should be the right before Josh. No, just kidding.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I was gonna say, yeah, I think the fight call was just a lot of fun. Like, I'd never done a fight scene like that, so we had like wooden swords, and so we had a fight call before every show. It was just a blast. And I remember, yep. I remember getting.
Yeah, that became this. I took this from the up in the bar.
Converse.
He was. So I remember Tony giving the script out, and I was looking through the character, and I was just like, "Who is this guy? Like, what's his deal?" And it's just the funniest character, really. He's, him and Mortimer are like the comedic relief of the show. Just so kooky, just so out there. But it was just really fun to go into the audience or go up in front of the audience and just perform, just be over the top, and yeah, it was just a blast.
Shout out to Trenton. He's the one that choreographed our fights.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
it was so fun. And Joff's death, I'm so glad that I feel like I died before he did.
Yeah,
so
right before.
Luckily I could just die and close my eyes and didn't have to watch it because it was just so funny.
I was going to say, Dal, that I had so many people after every show be like, I have never seen Dal in my entire life act like that, because your character is so, extravagant and old, and really like you are when it's late at night, and it's the best kind of Dallin that I love. But people don't see that side of Dallin, so it was so funny. And watching you do all that, I wish I had all of that monologue that you say before when you guys just come on. I swear I had it memorized because I thought it was so funny.
It was another favorite moment, just going on for the first time. We had a lot of confetti in the show, and so take a handful of confetti and walk into the audience and throw it in the air because the character's just so over the top and just so selfish, so funny.
When we entered, do it for us. It was so funny.
Yeah. Something like that, right?
No, but what did you say? It was so funny. You're like, we've arrived, or something. The players have arrived.
The players have arrived. Yeah, something like that.
And then the light didn't go on you, and so yeah. I mean, it's just so funny. Oh my goodness. Here, I'll put this video while we're talking about Dallin's character, because like you said, or like we saw, this was Dallin in rehearsals before we decided to add the wig, and then you had lovely eye makeup, and it was great. So we did this this little video. It doesn't have anything to do with the Fantasticks other than Dallin in costume. All right, you'll love it.
In the books, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? In the movies, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
It's so random. You'll get it if you know. But there's Dallin.
You know.
If you know, you know. I love it. That's great. Hey Maggie, should we talk about your big miracle moment?
We have to.
Yeah.
Seriously, one of the coolest things I have ever seen in live theater.
Yeah. Okay, well, story time. So we opened the Fantasticks. Like Tony said, it was already a crazy rehearsal process because it was my senior year. It was the end of my senior year, so I had a whole bunch of like senior competitions with theater and voice, and I was in my spring show, and I literally left for New York the day after we closed. I flew out to New York for like a trip out there for my school, and it was just an insane time of life. And I am endlessly grateful that she worked around it because it was such a cool experience to be part of. But it was already a little wild. I remember during rehearsals, I came in with I had hurt my foot and my ankle was all wrapped in something. Do you remember that? So that was kind of scary. And then about a week, I think, before we opened, I just started losing my voice, horribly losing my voice. to the point where I could not speak. Like, I couldn't make any noise. I couldn't sing. I couldn't whisper. I couldn't speak. It was horrible. And I was like, I'm supposed to open this show in a week. I have so many things going on right now. Like, this is the worst time that you could possibly lose your voice. And of course I did. So. And
the cast had to endure me singing your part, which I tried to sing your octave from the audience.
Tony would sing my lines, and then Logan would sing my songs because I couldn't do anything. So for the entire last week of rehearsals, all of tech and all of our like final dresses, I couldn't speak or sing or do anything. And it was just horrifying. And we're like, what is going on? And I remember we said that we might have a rehearsal the day of opening night, like in the morning, but we weren't sure. We ended up putting that rehearsal in because we needed to know what I could do. Like, we needed to know if I could even talk that day or not. So we go in, and I think it was like 9 in the morning or something. And we kind of started, and I could kind of speak out my lines. Like, I could sort of speak. And then it got to the first song in the show, or my first song in the show, which was Much More, which is already very high, very soprano, very hard to sing. And I remember it sounded a little like this. It went, I'd like to speak in a clear voice. It's horrible. And I got through the first verse, and I just looked at Tony like, what do I do? I can't do this. It was so bad. And I think I was like just on the verge of tears. I was like, what am I supposed to do? So we keep going with our run. And Tony and Logan, I think, called up April Kerr. And then April Kerr came in. And I don't even remember how many hours did she have to like learn that show?
Probably like 3
or 4 hours. And she learned all the music. And she sat up in the top of the tech booth with Logan, and Logan would conduct, and she would sing. And I was on stage saying my lines, and then as soon as I'd start singing, I just mouthed the whole thing. And she would sing for me. And it was absolutely incredible. It was terrifying, so scary. But
it was seamless. It was crazy how seamless it was.
Yeah.
And April had never even seen the show before. Like, she didn't know this music at all.
Yeah.
And it's a hard show vocally. Like, it's a hard show. So learning that in 3 hours, wow, that was incredible.
Yeah. I barely learned it in 3 weeks.
For you guys to be so.
Hi, everyone.
April.
Lydia's doing that change for us.
Logan doing a little sneaky.
Well, I wanted to get both Maggie's and April's side of the story, though I probably
I'm
know.
so glad you brought April on.
Yeah.
I probably know most of April's side of the story because we were
by each other's side the whole day.
Yeah, we were sitting in the audience, and I went, I don't even know what to do, and I think Tony and I were like, well, it's got to be someone who knows the show. I'm like, the problem is no one that's Maggie's age really knows the Fantasticks, though they should. And I said it's got to be someone that can learn. Great set change, Lydia. I love it.
We're in December now.
Yeah, so cold. Anyways, I said, it's got to be someone that can learn this music fast. So I called April, and she said, yeah, I'm not doing anything. Or maybe you were and you canceled it. I don't remember.
I was literally on the way to make a music video, and I was passing ELA when you called me.
So
come on over.
She came to the theater, and in between when Maggie had to sing, and in between times, we would go into the choir room, and I would teach her the song. But I think that worked most of the way. But then I would be conducting and humming and singing in April's ear from
the hardest score. Oh my gosh! Some of the stuff you had to sing was insane. I don't even remember it. It was like just went out, and then as soon as I was done, don't remember it anymore.
Ended up cutting what was the one job that you and I sang together that was just wild?
Round and
High
round.
singing one?
Round and round.
It's the worst song in the whole
I don't
show.
know.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot tell you. I think the only song I remember is Try to Remember, and that's the only thing I can remember from that whole show.
Well, at least you tried.
I was up in the booth with Logan and April because I was running lights or sound or both. I don't remember. But it was so cool to watch. Logan was seriously up there and humming in her ear, and she would do it, and I'd watch Maggie, and it was so in sync. And then what was really amazing is after the audience, when they told it, they talked about it, and they're like, that was the most surreal experience. Yeah. They said we knew because we had announced that April was singing for Maggie. They knew it, but they said we completely forgot about it. And they felt like they were one character. And I heard that from so many of the people who saw it that night. And I think anybody who was there seriously witnessed the theater miracle. It was so beautiful. And kudos to April for coming in and saying it was awesome.
It was the coolest experience I've ever had in theater. I loved it so much.
Here's
Aww.
after the show.
I know. I'll never play that role ever in theater because that's not my type of role. So to be able to sing it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Well, and you're right. It was a theater miracle. I look back on that day going, that was the most stressful opening day, the most crazy, but also the most I felt so good about the show because not only were we were ready to go anyways, but then this thing made us we had to trust each other even more. I had to trust that April was going to do it, and I was giving her first pitch before we go or whatever, and it worked. It's like this crazy miracle.
Well, even Maggie, I think about if I was in Maggie's shoes and just to open up my mouth and hope that something came out, you know what I mean? And it matched what I was saying and it wasn't taking away from my character. How much faith that Maggie put into April was also just so touching because it was so beautiful.
That's the most vulnerable you could be on stage is to just tell the audience, I can't do it right now. So I'm going to do what we can do. And that takes a lot of courage. So
yeah, one of my that was we were between shows, we were in the music room practicing and April was running through the stuff. And one of the most touching parts for me is that when she was singing it, she wanted to sing it like I would have sung it. And so she very specifically I showed her videos of me singing it at practice and stuff. And so she could hear how my voice sounded. And it wasn't just I don't know, it wasn't just me or just April, it was this fusion of us, and it was cool that she would do that for me. I thought
well, and I just remembered standing up there, and I would, because April had the music, and she would be holding out a note or whatever, and I'd be watching Maggie to give her mouth is closed, so that we were making sure, because you might not have, when you learn the music, might not have held all those notes or whatever, and so it was this little miracle of pieces that work together. It really one of the.
I couldn't look at her the whole time because it was I couldn't memorize it, so I had to look at the music, and whenever I could look at her, I'd look at her. But mainly, I was just trusting that Logan would just sing the right pitches into my ear at the right time. So it was a lot of faith on a lot of ends. For sure.
That was. I thought I have to bring April on because she's an honorary member of the cast. She did 2 performances with us.
Yeah.
And the coolest things. And I know people that were I was going to go or whatever to that performance, but then I didn't. And now I'm sad that I did. Or people that were I'm glad I came to this performance, and they didn't want to come back, and they loved the miracle of what happened,
Yeah.
So pretty cool. So pretty cool.
Thanks for thinking of me.
You're welcome.
Great night.
We always think of you when we think of this show.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. All right, let's say bye to April. I'm going to bring the others on. Thanks,
bye, April.
Bye.
Love you. Oh, let's put someone back up. I took John out first. I'll put John on.
Did Ned leave, or is he just backstage?
Who?
Ned?
Oh, yeah, he's back here.
Oh, okay. I just didn't see him. Okay.
He's smiling at me. I'll put him on there. So I have another video that we can watch. And I took this video of Tony.
Oh.
And it's a video of her in Tanner's place when he does the arrow.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Enjoy.
Oh no.
Bravo!
Brava.
I was so silly. I was just filling in.
Well, when I was looking for stuff to put on, I was like, this is hilarious that I don't know why. You were probably like, oh, I'll do it. And I was like, I'll film. So, for some reason I have.
You know, when people are missing, I'll just fill in the blocking because I block them. And I remember they're blocking. So I'm like, I'll just fill in, but I should have just skipped forward.
No.
She's going to start confiscating the phone for rehearsals in the future.
Yeah.
It's fun for me because I, don't get on stage a lot. So it's fun to get up there and just take on a part for a second. But that was fun.
And it's fun to watch that and remember, like, Josh, like, he would put his hand to say, oh, yeah, he is dead. Little things that I go, oh, yeah, that was silly and fun. Here's some comments. So first I have PTSD from cleaning confetti.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, when we took out the risers of the black box, we had to actually lift them out and put them on the stage for Little Shop of Horrors. We had like a bucket of confetti that went underneath the stage.
Lydia, how many like handfuls did you throw in the whole show?
Oh my gosh, so many. I don't know.
Like 5, 6, 7, something like that?
Yeah, probably. And then I had the confetti cannon, which I failed at operating.
Oh, that's right.
You did.
So
It was so fun, but and of course
working.
the snow plus the confetti. I mean, the audience was not safe from anything falling on them.
No. Well, Lydia was so cute today because we actually were looking at, just different things that we have. And she says, when we were talking about the confetti, she's like, it takes a special touch to make the confetti fall just right.
I have the special touch. So
Bravo.
I have my confetti right here.
Oh,
I have mine too.
Hey.
Tony Awards
Yep.
trophy. Yeah, we had a bunch of the white confetti we used for snow and different things, and then we had some colorful confetti too, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. And blue confetti.
For the
Yeah.
party
Fun.
scenes.
Yeah. Confetti all over them.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't just confetti from the show. It was confetti from every show. Like, my crew had to clean it up every time after the show. So.
And in between on matinee days, I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's not as bad as glitter, though. Glitter's even worse.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah,
All right,
Peter Pan, we're still seeing Peter Pan stuff.
I love this. When Down said, Maestro, accelerando con molto prosciutto.
I love that.
He had some of the funniest lines.
Yes.
I want you to know, Dylan, you have a light. Is it you or is it Joff that says, "Good night, sweet prince"? That was your line?
2 down.
Oh,
Yeah, 2 down. When
that's
you went
right.
on stage, it was the sweetest moment between El Gallo and Henry. He's this actor, but he's this old actor who's kind of, he's not on stage anymore, really, but it aches for those moments being on stage again. And so he's like not leaving the stage because he wants to be on there so bad. And first it's humorous, but then El Gallo's, his beat changes and he looks at him with admiration and love and tenderness. And so right before he walks off, he stops him and he's like, "Good night, sweet prince." And I love that moment, but this might be cheesy, but when I say goodnight to my dog at night, I'm a "Good night, sweet prince." I just
That's so sweet.
I know, but it was such a good moment with you two.
Yes, Don, I love you.
I love that.
Speaking of dog,
I love that, John, you put "Hey guys" on the Facebook.
I had my phone to my daughter to show my wife, and so she informed me that she posted that. So that was from my heart.
We have some April rocked it.
Yes.
I'm quite amazed at the house name. Good job, April and Maggie. Oh, and every time I hear this story, I'm so impressed. Yeah, it's true. The show must go on.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Unless there's coronavirus.
The show is on now.
Yeah, that's right.
Our cast is less than 10 people, so just saying, we can do it.
True.
I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna drop down for a second and do Ned, because I want to talk about one of my favorite other scenes from the show, which was you guys doing "It Depends on What You Pay," Joff, and you too.
Love that.
The chaos of everything happening in that song. I
breathing, trying to breathe while we're.
I love that. Talk about you guys. I mean, we kind of talked about John and Ned, your characters, but just your characters have some of the best parts of the show, some of the funnest. Never Say No and Plant a Radish, and then you get to do It Depends on What You Pay with El Gallo. Talk about all of these fun songs, fun parts of the show.
Take it away, Ned.
You've been off, John. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
You always have something to say.
Well, and I've done it one more time. I've done another production of, since Ned only did 3 and I did 4. So
elder.
No, and we'd love to do it again. So we've got, but it's interesting to be in those funny clothes and to have to step around and, in suspenders and trying to deal with props. And, I'm not the most coordinated guy, and then trying to sing together. It was a lot of fun though. But I literally was gasping for air at the end of each. We put it all out there. It was a lot of fun, very physical, a lot of fun dancing, and the words, especially in Depends on What You Pay. There was just a lot of not very many opportunities to breathe, I should say.
Yep. I couldn't wait to get over and sit down on the chest and rest a minute.
I love it. How about Joff? Joff, your character, where's that picture? Is just so you're trying to trick them. This was so fun to watch you try or trick them. Talk about your character. What? Because your character's very. It's got multiple sides almost. To, right?
He's very multidimensional, and he's my favorite character I've ever played. He's like so weird. He's so weird, and I couldn't figure him out after I got my script for the longest time. And I watched the movie, and that didn't help. And I don't know. What helped me though was realizing how genuine the whole show really was, even though it's so crazy. And then realizing El Gallo he makes it ingenuine most of the time, but he the way his lines are written and just the way he carries himself. I don't even know. I don't know how to say it. He's a confusing character for me. But what was the question?
Doesn't matter. This is fine.
No, you asked me about a specific scene, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I just love watching because at the beginning you're so like sincere, you sing Try to Remember, and then you kind of turn into this El Gallo character who's going to help them, kind of execute this whole ordeal with the two lovers. And so I just loved like watching you, because in this scene, Ned and John's characters are looking out and they don't see you making all these faces. That was a fun thing for us to see you, you're saying one thing, but you're really meaning something else.
Yes. Yeah. It was fun to be able to play a different character for the audience than I was playing for the cast, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Good.
Yeah.
How about this? Didn't John Scape always whip Lydia in the face at the beginning of that song?
On purpose.
Every time. I loved it. I'm like, keep doing it.
Yep. It wasn't on purpose at first.
There's John and Lydia.
Yeah, Lydia's a really good dancer, so she was really good at being mute because she expresses herself so. I mean, if you saw her as Winnie and the older Winnie in Tuck Everlasting, you know what I'm talking about. She knows how to tell a story. But she was so funny in this one. That was one song she actually got to dance in a little bit, so she was excited about that.
It was so fun.
But she was so funny. She had this huge, because her prop list was crazy. She had this huge prop list. I'm like, we can make that look like a prop. And so she actually kept a prop list in her bag, so she knew what was next because it was so much stuff.
Yeah. I didn't end up having to use it, but like during an actual performance, but it was really nice to just have it there just in case I forgot.
I love this. Also, Michelle's great at reminding us what happens. Louisa would whisper, I forgot to go to the bathroom. Was that in the script, Maggie?
I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure Ned told me to say it. Like, you should see this. And I was
Preston would say something too. What did Preston say that was so funny as well?
well, he was running to the steps, wouldn't he? And then he'd be like, ow, I can't see.
I thought he said something that he forgot to do too, or I can't remember.
Oh, was it someone farted? No. Was that?
Yeah, it was like, yeah. He's like, excuse me.
Oh, was that you? Yeah.
It was so funny.
I love that. Let's see if there's any other. No, well, just it was amazing to watch. Yay. Okay, should we play? Do you want to play Kensington questions?
Yes! Yes!
We have 8 people to choose from.
Yeah. It's so easy with this Nova cast. All right.
Easy. I didn't. So good. That is the best music ever.
I know. All right, so how it works, and we're just missing Dallin on the screen. So, Dal, if you or any of you have the answer to the question, put your hand up in front of the screen or in front of your camera so I can see, and then we'll call on you. Okay? So there's just going to be a question, and you guys get to decide who in the cast fits this question. Okay? You'll get it. Okay? Let's do this one. Most likely to miss an entrance.
We were all on stage the whole time.
Yeah. But I think it'd be Josh.
I was gonna say Lydia.
Oh, I did go off stage a few times.
Well, I would say Lydia just because Lydia always had to remember something. So I feel like Lydia was there, but then she'd be like, "Oh crap, I forgot something."
In rehearsals? Yes.
Yeah.
In rehearsals for sure.
That's what I meant.
Oh my gosh. Hey, but at the beginning of Act 2, I always had to tell Joff when to enter. So.
John, did you have an answer?
Well, I was going to say, I think there was, at least in rehearsals, there were a few times when, Henry, I'm trying to think of first name. Yeah, he missed a few times, but that was in rehearsal more than that. But anyway.
Tanner's so cute. He did Tuck.
Tanner.
And that was the first play he had ever done, was Tuck Everlasting. And then I needed a Mortimer. And he was so happy and kind of blonde that I'm like, you would be really great for this. And I didn't realize how through and through blonde he really was. And he really truly is that happy too. He's such a nice person. And so he was just like, I'm just happy to be a part of this. I love this theater stuff. It's so fun.
And I got to do Barbara with him.
Yeah, they needed someone to be on stilts. He did that in Tuck. So I recommended him, but they didn't end up using him, but they ended up using him.
Yeah, he's weird.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
All right, how about this one? Most likely to forget a line.
Lydia.
Every
Tanner.
Tanner.
Probably
Remember that one monologue?
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to get this. And I had to sit him down and be like, Tanner, the time is now. You have to get it now.
And every time it was like, oh, that's an interesting way to put that monologue. Well, how interesting.
Tanner, we're laughing with you, not at you if you're watching that. You couldn't join us. So we're laughing with you.
I mean, show that picture of again. It's so funny.
Where is he?
And he had those funny glasses. It was so
Oh,
great.
love it. I love it. Okay, let's do which one am I on? What was to injure themselves?
Joff.
Joff, yeah.
Maggie
Okay.
did it
Oh,
twice.
actually, probably me.
Well, you're not
Oh,
most likely. Joff is most likely.
Yeah, and I did hurt my shoulder once.
Falling off the stage.
Yeah, first time I did it, I just landed right on my shoulder.
Is that most likely to injure themselves during the show or after the show? Because Ned has a story for that.
Ned scared me a little bit. Ned would like jump off the stage or something. When you walked off of it?
Ned.
I'm like, what is he doing? He's gonna hurt himself. When you would make your entrance into the audience.
Oh, I would just jump off with
Yeah.
Ken and
I know. I'm like, what's he doing? Yeah, but he
I'm
never hurt
having
himself.
fun
And watch the audience.
trying to compete with Joff.
Well, to his defense, those ship ladders are hard to. They're pretty steep.
You can't really scale them like stairs.
Yeah, we had to make fire code.
All right, let's see. Which one was I on? Let's try this one. Most likely to be late. Josh just accepted that in every show that we do.
Hey, Joff in this one, he usually is really late, but I remember in Fantasticks him being really punctual.
I was late twice by like 45 minutes.
Whoa.
You know, you could have just had that in her memory that you.
I had
late,
two really good
but now
excuses though, and I did let you know.
Right. Yeah, I remember you being super professional about it.
all right.
Who most likely would show up 45 minutes early?
Wait, where are they?
They're at the
Because we were having to practice.
they would just show up so early. I'm like, you guys know your rehearsal doesn't start yet, right? And they're like, no, we're here to practice.
We're having so much fun. Just kind of hang out in the parking lot over there. So
I love it.
I feel like kind of like Kilroy or something. They got the little.
Yeah, sorry. I'm right in your face, John. I'm sorry. All right, most likely to upstage on accident. This may be that they were so good at their part that they were upstaging the other.
Alan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's that?
Should I take here? I'm Dallin.
I don't think he even once thought about upstaging, but his character ended up being so surprisingly funny that he started upstaging and he didn't even know it. Like, yeah.
I agree. He was just on stage and you were just watching Dallin because why? Why not?
And then you always had a hand up. It was
Yeah,
so funny.
so over the top.
And that cuff, I mean, brilliant.
And the hair,
I love the hair.
ridiculous. And the Converse too. I loved those Converse.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My favorite
So
part
fun.
was watching Lydia try and get the jacket on every night, like that.
Oh my god.
We actually changed the jacket so they could get it on. It used to be a jacket.
The sleeves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once didn't your like neck thing fall off too? Because I failed putting it on.
I don't think
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just once. I think it was a
I grabbed it off of him on
It was
accident.
often.
Yeah, it was your fault, not mine.
Yeah, I would like leave the stage and I'd be like, oh, lost part of my costume.
Well, and the brilliant thing about the Fantasticks is it's one of those ones where you get to break the fourth wall. It's like Drowsy Chaperone, where El Gallo will stop and he'll talk to the audience. Every character introduces himself to the audience directly. Like they speak to the audience, except for the nerd. He never
Yeah, I
talks.
was gonna say.
But yeah, everybody talks to the audience.
That's what's so wonderful about this show too. Is you really is not meant for 500-600 people stage, and and to be as close as we were. You just wish we could have done about 10 more productions to get everyone in, but it was a
Hey,
performance.
John, stop it. So this cast has been relentless. They're like, we want to remount it. We want to do it again. They tried to get
But I mean, as far as the run time, we had to fit it into a window, and so it was great to be so close to the audience and to be able to break that fourth wall. It was wonderful.
Do you know how many times each of you have approached me about doing this show again? I've never had a cast want to do this show again so much.
We've been secretly practicing. We're ready to go. We just need a dress rehearsal.
money.
Remember, I got the sets ready for you. They're ready.
Yeah, I've got my script. Joff and I have been running lines tonight.
Yep, we're ready.
We should
Yeah.
take the sets over. You want to see our next one? Remember this curtain?
Is it the ribbon
All
one?
right.
The ribbon one's my favorite.
Well, I'm going to surprise you. I mean, wait and see.
Okay, this is going to be the one from Round and Round, or
Wait and see.
okay. I thought you wanted to guess. I thought this was still Kensington.
Yeah, no, we have these beautiful. I love the curtain we just had up. That was to create December, and it was
Those
so
are tableaus. Like, yeah.
with the lighting and stuff. I'm so glad I decided the last moment to create that drape because it cost a lot of money to buy that one, and just cut it up. This one actually cost a lot of money too because each ribbon, it was like $5 each because you had to buy like one.
Read them and
And
wait.
Lydia had to spend all the time organizing them. She's doing right now. She's doing so good. It's like in her DNA. She just knows what to do.
And we'd be like, Lydia, you missed a section. Lydia, no.
I tried.
She did such a good job. In fact,
Oh, it's so pretty.
this one was another one where I'm like, this is classic Fantasticks. Like, you have to have this one.
Yeah.
And they would enter through it. It was so beautiful. I don't know if you have the picture of Preston and Maggie. Yes.
Yeah.
Love. And the rain.
That was beautiful.
That may have been my favorite scene. It was just like so peaceful and so, I don't even know, just serene. Just with Preston and Lydia and the backdrop in the rain. Oh my gosh. So,
yeah, and Preston's not here, but I want to give a shout out to Preston. He was so great. He was Rip in West Side Story, and he was also Jesse in Tuck Everlasting. So our audience has already loved Preston because he's fabulous on stage. And he was so cute because he really worked with what I wanted with this character to really make him a nerd. And my favorite thing is his inspiration for his nerd was he lived with his brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
And he totally like channeled his brother-in-law. And I'm like, whatever you're doing, it's perfect. Keep going with it. That was so good. Oh.
Awesome.
There's the ribbons in the background of Preston.
Yeah, I love Preston's reaction here. Like, that step would not have been without Preston's reaction.
Yes, totally.
He was so horrified.
All right, let's do another question. What question?
Hey.
How about this one? Oh no, we already did that one.
Yeah.
We already did that one too. Okay, now I know where. Most likely to break character on stage.
Oh.
Lydia talked a lot.
Shut up.
She wasn't supposed to.
I did. Maybe Job. But you know what?
I don't know.
I feel like anybody watching.
Anybody could have broken state.
I think it probably was Tanner because I think when something would go wrong or Tanner would get his lines wrong, he'd be like, sorry, I don't know.
Joff would do this. I'm going to impersonate Joff right now. Okay, ready?
Oh boy.
His lines. Try to remember the month of February. Dang it!
We're like, keep going. Stop talking to us.
Stop saying it.
Yeah, I need to stop doing that.
I remember
It hurts my voice too when I do it.
doing Round and Round sometimes, like in rehearsals, Joff and I would be doing it. Man, that scene, oh my goodness, like maybe the hardest scene I've ever done in theater, which is dumb because there's really nothing to it, but it was so hard. And Joff and I, we'd just be like waltzing crazy fast across the stage, looking at each other like, what are we doing? What is going on?
They're like, do we stop?
next.
We stop spinning now?
I know, it's like, it's easy to just do this, and we're like, we don't know what we're doing.
We are.
Choreographed that one 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, but the funnest part about Round and Round is the little scenes in between with Mortimer and Henry. And Monkey.
Arrivederci.
The fire and the.
You guys are so funny because you were like supposed to be abusing him, but you were like,
Oh my goodness.
But I know that was so stressful for Dallin and maybe Tanner, but it was like, And then everybody probably was like, "Where are we in the music? Who knows where we are? I don't know." And I'm like, "Keep singing, keep singing."
Michelle will cover us.
It felt like a fever dream sometimes.
It's like 11 pages long, too.
It is. It's
It
so
was.
long.
It was long. Do you know what, Such, though, after all of that chaos and stuff, because basically Luisa goes off with El Gallo's character, and Preston goes off to find himself, and he goes through all these crazy things and gets injured, enslaved, and whatever else is. But then right after that, everything the air just kind of clears after all this chaos. And Preston comes in, and he was so great about feeling hurt, like physically wounded. And Maggie and him would meet up again. And they had the most genuine conversation. Just these two people saying, I got hurt. And they're like, I'm sorry. Like the script is so beautiful. And they're like, I know. And like, are you okay? And then they come and sit together. And then Lydia, does Snow. And they have their first, or they kiss right there. And it's the first kiss on stage though, right? That's when you kiss the first time is the very end. And so then they kiss, and then Lydia's right above him, and they're like, it's snowing. I don't know. That ending is just priceless. And then El Gallo comes in, and he ties it all up with his cute poetry, the very sweet poetry. Yeah. And then they sing "Try to Remember." It's such a beautiful ending. Oh,
well, yeah, and El Gallo's vulnerable there too, because when he talks about I hurt them for that reason and myself a little bit too. I mean, there's just the beautiful.
Yeah.
He, as a character, he, is kind of the catalyst for all of the scenes, but yet, he's affected by it too. It was really touching when he says, "Take my coat," says, "No, both. There's room enough for both," and they start that whole thing. Man, that was really a beautiful moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was so sweet. It just came right down. And like I said, it really has that Into the Woods feel about it. And Fantasticks was first, so Into the Woods has a fantastic
Stephen Sondheim, who's such a stealing all the good stuff.
Right. But I hope if you didn't get to see Fantastic, when we redo this again.
Do it. Yeah.
You said it. When we redo
you, June 2021.
Encore.
Just, we can do a GoFundMe for the royalty or the rights. So just let us know how much we need to come up with, Tony, and we'll be ready.
Okay, $2,500.
All right. Piece of cake.
So the Kensington
Theater. $2,500. You got yourself Fantasticks again.
The other day we raised like $100,000 for quick take and a whole bunch of stuff. So
I'm to get a fly system.
I donated $100,000 to that.
Thank you, Joff.
Well, it was fun too. We decided to do the Fantasticks, but it really did cost a lot of money because I don't know if you know about this, but you have to pay for permission, everybody, just to do the show. Nothing else, just the rights to use the show cost about $2,500. And even when you're in a black box, like we only have 59 seats, they can't go below a certain number. They just don't. And so we had to pay a lot of money to do a musical in the black box. So we went into it and we're like, okay, this is like, we usually do some stipends, just kind of try to pay, the production team some kind of stipend, but we're like, okay, this one, we're just doing this as a gift. So everybody was in it just to give this time. And, not that we make any money off our stipends because they're like nothing, but in order to afford it. So the ticket sales helped us break even. We didn't make any money off of it, but we did break even, we were fine. But it was, yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift that I'll always remember.
All right, we have 3 more questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
Who was the cast clown?
Well, he's not on screen.
Ned.
No, I said Ned and John.
Oh yeah.
Ned and John for sure.
Ned and John.
Yeah. All right. High five, Ned. Oh, that's over here.
Hey, I just want to point out that they performed at the Tony Awards, and they were so cute. They did. Was it Planner Radish? I think you guys did. But they didn't have their same costumes. They came up with their own costumes, and so they had like bow ties and Converse that matched, and they were in suit. It was so cute. These guys are so great. We need to get them on stage again.
Ned was the costumer on that one.
Well, he did a good job. Well, if you saw Peter Pan Ned costumed his Smee.
You did?
Yeah, he came.
His kilt and his.
Yeah. What do you think about a kilt?
That was an amazing costume.
Yeah, so
And his corkscrew.
it was brilliant.
The corkscrew.
Yeah, he was.
He
But
really,
his costume was totally him. We didn't do any of his costume.
That's how he dresses at home. So.
I love
it because he knows it's true.
I love that Ned's just taking this in. He's like,
It's true.
oh, I love Ned. All right, how about this one? Best dancer.
Oh.
Lydia,
Thanks.
Thanks. All right, last question. Who had the best costume?
oh,
Joff.
Jeff had a cool costume, but I really like Lydia's was fun too. The top hat, and she had a really cool vest.
yeah, that was a cool costume actually.
But the boys, I think the fathers had kind of a more loud outfit.
Yeah.
They were really fun to. I costumed this show, and they were really fun to shop for because they were. I think they even provided their own socks, if I remember right, or something.
Yeah. No, all the characters were appropriate. I thought Louisa's dress and just like a young innocent.
Yeah.
And with Preston's outfit, the little schoolboy. I just thought
Very
they were
white
all
and innocent.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the spat there on Ned.
A little shout out to West Side Story. Maggie's wearing Maria's dress from West Side Story. Those are her own shoes, though.
Her own shoes.
It took a lot of work to get there, so.
I know. We got actually one pair of shoes and they didn't fit, so we had to reorder them. But they came in time, so it was really fun.
I love it. All right, that was Kensington questions. You want to do the intro again? Why? Because we can. Oh,
All right, well done.
bravo. All right, what else?
What do you have coming up on Tuesday? What should we log in for? Are you?
I don't know yet.
Okay, we'll be back.
I'm usually way ahead of everything, but I've had a crazy weekend. So,
I'd like to see Logan and Tony and Maggie. They'll all be there.
Yeah, it will be something with
Maggie show, Maggie and Logan show.
I know something. Well, it will be something. We'll
No,
let
this
it.
was wonderful.
Yes, this was so fun. Any other last thoughts, last memories that you're coming up with? I think it might be appropriate for us to talk about and Maggie, your mom put. I had never seen Fantastic before and found it so charming. I love Maggie's closing night post that read that Fantasticks taught her life isn't going to be perfect, but it is going to be beautiful. Very applicable message for us at this very moment in the world. Yeah, I think that amongst the show, there's funny moments, there's crazy people dying, people running around, all that stuff, and then the middle of Act 2 being a little crazy because it's showing us what the world is. I think the end, and we've talked about it a little bit, but that end is, because the show, it teaches us about life, right? And how we perceive life, how we handle life, and what we learn from it. And John, you read Joff's little end thing that I thought was so poignant every night of. One, that he hurts them, but he hurts himself a little bit too. And then there's the line after that. What else does El Gallo say?
He said, leave the wall. You must always leave the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting. I remember talking to John a little bit off because he did it when he was in high school, and he did the Fantasticks through different pieces of his own life. And he said how he would learn something different. He saw Fantasticks from a different point of view each time he did it. And I thought that was really beautiful because there's a reason why it ran for 50 years. Because it was so applicable to so many people. I still think back, having this thing in my heart. And the first time we read it, to have the full cast there Russ was also there. And he would sing the songs with us. And after he was so cute, he's like, oh, where did you get these people? Where did you get them? They're so good. Oh, they're so perfect. Oh. And every night after the show, when he would see it, he would say the same thing. He'd be like, that El Gallo, he's the best I've ever seen. Where did he come from? He's so good. Like, it just was so, he enjoyed the process so much. And it was really neat to see that process. And also, I mean, me, Ned, and John, we knew Russ, but nobody else did. And now they all have a love for this great, great man. I mean, I can truly say Kensington Theater wouldn't even be here had it not been for Russ Johnson being my mentor and helping me find that love. Especially, he helped me find my love for directing and that love of teaching. And so I owe a lot to this great, great man.
Yeah. Well,
a highlight for me was when John and I got to point to Russ and say Russ's toupee. And to see him laugh about it, but
it's supposed to be devil's toupee, the devil's toupee. Yeah.
And then the last night, I think when Joff sang that last song the last night, that was really terrible for me.
Yeah.
I was just trying to keep it all together, but it was just every night that when we ended that way, it was just beautiful, and just what a bunch of great friends I have from that cast. It was just an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah, me too. Definitely.
I had a hard time putting away the props and sets for this one. It was.
But hold it though, Tony. I'm the only one that hasn't said anything to you about doing this show again. So I just want to say that if you spent 8 hours putting that Fantasticks sheet together, you didn't get your money's worth.
Hey, look at that. We just got 25 million. I don't even know how much. But
2.5 billion.
We are set. We are so set to do this.
No, it's so cute.
No, it's 250 million.
The crew kids fell in love with this show too. Like, it's one that people don't do very often anymore. And it was so sweet how much they enjoyed it. And it meant to them because my crew kids run all of our Kensington shows. So just the junior high kids loved it.
Yeah. Hey, I have an idea, and I have not, but Joff, maybe you could sing us a verse of "Try to Remember to Take Us Out," because I think that song is so applicable right now, right?
Yes.
Try to remember.
Why just a verse, Joff? Do you remember all of it?
Sing the whole thing.
I have the book in front of me.
Sing it. And they'll sing it.
I was just gonna do the reprise.
Hey, take me out so that who's out right now? Dallin can help sing.
They're all like, do we know it? Well, all of you know. Okay.
Okay, the first one then?
Or no, you can do the, I think everybody sings in the reprise.
Nobody sings in the reprise but me.
We just do a follow.
I don't think.
No, we do our hums or oohs and ahs.
Then do the first one, sure. Pick a good key.
Oh no. Oh no.
Why?
Oh, is it working?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You all went black.
Oh no! What?
For a second.
Okay, I'm gonna put Lydia and Tony back on so that Lydia can, because they're on the. I wasn't in this.
Okay. Should I find a minus track or something?
No, just sing it a cappella. Just get the right note and we'll sing it.
Okay.
I really want a minus track, but you'd have to find one real fast.
I know. I
didn't think about it.
I can do it. It'll be quick.
Here we go. Paul says, this was one of my favorite shows to watch. I was pleasantly surprised. Aww. Love Paul.
Okay, I found it. It might be like a really awful
Cute.
karaoke track. Can you hear it? Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain was yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were a tender and callow fellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow.
Follow.
Oh, ah!
Darn it! Whatever you think. Dang it!
Try to remember when life was so tender that no one wept except the willow. Try to remember when life was so tender that love was an ember about to billow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow.
Follow.
Deep in December, it's nice to remember, although you know the snow will follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember, without a hurt, the heart is hollow. Deep in December, our hearts should remember the fire of September that made us mellow. Deep in December, our hearts should remember and follow. Follow.
That's so beautiful, Jive.
Thank you.
I think your mustache would have worked for El Gallo.
What?
Your mustache would have worked for El Gallo.
Well, let's do it again.
He's ready.
I'm ready to go right now. I might need more than 3 weeks notice now.
Well, I think that was a perfect wrap up. That this is why we're doing this, and this has been so fun to remember back to this fun time. And we're gonna get through this, and then we'll be able to do the Fantasticks now that we have like billions of dollars. Okay, you guys are great. I am so grateful that you came on and talked. This was a lot of fun. I'll put down back on so that y'all can say bye. But thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks, Logan.
See you.
Thanks. Love you all.
You guys stick around.
Everybody.
Bye, Dallin.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Adam.
So take it away and paint it up right. So take it away and decorate it. So take it away. That sun is too bright.
I say that it really is a pity.
It used to be so pretty.
Take away the golden moonbeam.
Take away the painted sunset. Take away the blue lagoon.